Mike Tyson said, social media has made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting someone and not getting punched in the face for it. And it's so damn true when you think about it.
How is your generation, because you're young enough to be my son, how is your generation going to view success? And I'll just say plaintively, and you can agree or disagree with me, I grew up in the, elementary school in the 70s, formal education in the 80s, meaning college and law school, and the 90s, which was fairly robust boomer materialism and consumerism. So the 80s and 90s were robust consumerists, if you will. So we view our success, whether we like it or not, through our materiality. Will that be true for your generation? Again, I'm making a bold editorial statement. That's my observation of my generation.
No, I think this generation is characterized by low attention and the inability to hold focus over a long period of time. And I think a lot of that is driven by the fact that we're the social media generation. We live in a generation where technology has programmed us to jump from thing to thing very quickly and to be unable to hold our focus for a long period of time. And we all feel it, right? When we sit on social media or we spend time on these different platforms trying to build our personal brands, that's eating into us. It's hitting you with the dopamine drip over and over again. You lose your ability to actually focus for a long period of time, to be in that deep work state, etc. And I think about it a lot. I think it's a generation that we live in that is entirely focused on the prize and not nearly enough on the process. I say this all the time. The person who loves climbing is going to climb a whole lot higher than the person who loves the summit. And there's a huge difference between those two people. And I think social media is training an entire generation of people to only focus on the summit. It's focusing on the like count. It's focusing on the follower count. It's focusing on all of those little things that sit out there, the dopamine hits that are sitting out there, rather than focusing on loving punching the clock. The person who loves that climb and actually loves climbing. I think about it all the time. My grandfather, when I was a kid, telling me that there was pride to be taken in punching the clock every single day, in showing up to work, no matter what it was you were doing, by the way. I mean, now we have this thing where we just like to glorify this like one type of work and it's sexy and it looks good. Well, what I was always taught as a kid is that like my grandfather on my dad's side was, or great-grandfather on my dad's side was a vegetable peddler in New York. And he showed up every single day, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever time you had to get there to go get the vegetables, drag your cart out, etc. And he took so much pride in just punching the clock every single day. And I think with social media and what these technology systems and what the constant dopamine drip have done to us is we've lost an ability to really punch the clock and take pride in it in that deep way.
I mean, I think it's well said. I want to add something. I want to test your reaction to it. Mm-hmm. So the generation before me and my grandparents, the World War II generation, many of these people were involved with the military or had family members in the military. And with the military, you get structure and the military gives you command and control. It also created some level of comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y, in the country. Mm-hmm. Where somebody like George McGovern, a left-leaning senator, could get along with Bob Dole, a right-leaning senator, even though they disagreed on a lot of policy because they were connected through the American military. You also saw the advent of the Mad Men world, which was by and large command control, sort of the Sinclair Lewis, man in the gray flannel suit business idea. The IBMs of the world, General Electric, these large corporations, GM. You then morphed as you got into the 90s, as we started to move away from the military. Less and less of our people were involved in the American military, down to like 2% now. In the same time that was happening, we got all these choices, social media choices, cable television choices, reaffirmation of our own biases. So now we're all tunneled into our own places. Do you think that we've lost some level of our community? Do you think your generation is going to struggle with that tribalism?
Yes, absolutely. I think the common cause, losing your common cause is a really impactful thing. The movie Independence Day is something that I always think about in kind of a funny context, I suppose, of like the alien invasion is coming and, Will Smith has his whole heroic thing going on in that movie. But the whole idea was that the entire planet comes together for this common cause of, avoiding extinction by this alien enemy. And I've long thought that the only thing that would ever bring us together is an alien invasion that brings together all of humanity to fight against this common foe. More recently, I think we would all just argue over, what to call the aliens, and we'd probably just get wiped out immediately, because I don't see our ability to actually come together around common cause. I think the aliens would come and be like ready to blow us up with their big laser beam, and we would somehow be like squabbling over whether it was like calling it a spaceship or should we call it a UFO, or what should we call this thing that's up there? And they would be zapping us and killing us. So I do think we've lost our ability to some extent to circle around a common cause, and we prefer arguing. And, I've always just thought, I think my grandmother used to say this, that no one ever argued their way to happiness. And yet we live in this society and we live in a social media world where arguing gets glorified. Like, you can go dunk on someone on social media and get 100 likes and everyone pats you on the back and you're like, oh, damn, that was productive for me. I got this huge dopamine hit out of dunking on the mooch on Twitter. That was great. I got to go do that again. Now I'm going to go do that to not just the mooch. I'm going to go do that to Sahil. I'm going to go do that to, to our friend Dan. I'm going to go do that to whoever. Like, I'm going to go start dunking on people because I'm getting patted on the back when I go and do that. And it just perpetuates this cycle of behavior that is just like, it's ridiculous, right? Mike Tyson said, in this really funny line, he said, social media has made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting someone and not getting punched in the face for it. And it's so damn true when you think about it. Like, how many of those people that will dunk on you on social media would actually say it to your face?
Village idiot became the global village idiot. But I do think Elon Musk is right about the freedom of speech. I don't understand why we had to take all these people off of social network. I would rather fight these people in the free marketplace of ideas, let them say whatever they want to say anonymously from their keyboard. And so this way people feel plugged into the society. When you're taking people off the network, you're deplugging them. And I think that form of deplatforming makes people feel like they're being left out.